Hi, this is Just Saying, and better known as Cypress Golden Bronze. Well, I'm going to tell you, I just got my topic. What I really want to talk about is what I've been saying on a couple of videos that I've said back. Blacks that have achieved a certain level, how they change and go through a metamorphosis, and they're no longer the same person, black person, anymore. And one of those people that I can say, I do Just Saying. I've been doing Just Saying for a long time. I have 250 videos regarding Obama, which every time I think of Obama, I just go, ugh, that was a mistake. I'm not going to join black people on that. I really am not. They're trying to carry him or make him look good, or I really don't know, but he did not speak up. If he's just a pawn can speak up. At a certain time, at the right time, say it. Don't put down black people. He did it on every Trayvon Martin. I have a collection of the videos, and it's called Out of Time. I'll put it on top of my timeline so that you can look at it yourself. But a lot of black people knew he did that. They don't care. It's just because he's black, and that's really messed up. I'm not doing things like that anymore. You know, as much as I have struggled here in California, the worst, I can't make any black friends. As much as every time I do these webcams, I go outside and meet the most wonderful white person I ever met in my life. I might have failed, and they're the ones that reach down and help me up. Those type of things, more than being a drug dealer, becoming a drug dealer at Howard University or something like that, and you become a drug dealer, that's trying to make better in your life. For someone to just show simple kindness and be nice people. Black people don't have that anymore. California is disgusting. Black people here, they really don't know who they are here. This is the worst. It's Hollywood, but it's the worst. They're the worst black people I have never met black people that can't cook soul food. Well, I can't cook because my grandmother, I was not trained to cook. That wasn't my grandmother did not want me to cook, wash, nothing. I was the grandbaby, and I was spoiled rotten. But, wow, I think about my grandmother at that time, and I said, wow, I was real lucky. But I wasn't trained to cook, but they can't cook here. You can forget that. Miss Robbie and Sweetie Pies, she's got these California cooks. She better keep her eyes on them and make sure they don't do their way, because they don't know. Every catfish place I went to in California, I spent $2,000 last summer. It's only me. And I got the time. So I go and rent a car. Actually, I leased it because I had it for a long time. And went all around California trying to find soul food. And it was a disgust. I could not believe black people were cooking like that. That there was no place for me to go and connect with soul food. One African restaurant, I believe it's called Vanessa's, Ogusi soup and some tofu. It was good. I went there for that. It's a little heavy though for my stomach, you know. But other than that, it was really good. I enjoyed that. There's a Jamaican restaurant in Leimert Park. A lady with her and her girls, her family. I think that they are remarkable. And she's got some little bitty festivals. That's what she calls them. They look like cornbread, but they're cooked, they're fried. And so, oh my God, they're good. Those things are good. But what did I say? Jamaican and African. The people, black people here in California, if they're from California, even the music, it's like, are you serious? People used to want to come here they have no competition with people from Chicago or New York. Chicago, I have to admit, although I had such a hard time and I wasn't accepted in the group, I was in the political group, but I wasn't accepted. I think that a lot of people kind of didn't like me, you know. Maybe that's just me thinking that, but they didn't act like it. So, but the talent is in Chicago and New York. So that's the reason why all the people here that you see on TV and stuff like that are not from California. And some musicians. Boney James. I went because I know the Ohio players. I got a chance to meet Miss Mayweather. She was a beautiful woman. I love her because she's her. She's Miss Mayweather. Miss Mayweather. And her son is doing good in boxing. But Miss Mayweather was so down to earth that I forgot a lot of times who she was. But he looks exactly like her. You know, they're twins. Like me and my son are twins. Our hands, our feet, everything looks alike. He even has my personality. His rages, that's me. Yeah, it's me. I'm the only person that he would not win with that rage in the world. My son. I hope you see this and hear it. But let's move on. I forgot my subject on that one. We got to talk about Steve Harvey right now. Just Saying has been going on for quite a while, and this is my blog. This is how I speak my mind. I'm sure my doctors see this, everybody, this landlord has seen it, and I don't care. This is my vocal, this is mine. I'm not working for you, I'm paying you, landlord. So I do what I want to do. I be and speak because it's my time. There's many times I closed up. I remember when we couldn't wear French braids in our hair. I've closed up and shut up for so many years. I've worked all these different jobs. I'm due time to say what I want to say before my transition. And Steve Harvey is a black person that went through transition in his life. That means he went from being the coolest black man that anybody ever could know to a bitch. Okay. A dog. A black man that has totally blacked out. He had a beautiful dark-skinned wife. And I do light-skinned and dark-skinned because I pay attention to that. When people do that, they do it on purpose. It's not that they just, because look at, if you get somebody like Taye Diggs, if he left one white wife, he go to another white wife, to another white wife. That's intentional. So you got to find out, are you blacking out one of my greatest actors in Africa, Jim Iyke? He should be here. I shouldn't talk. But he's here in California, and I haven't seen him. He's one of my favorite actors. He's phenomenal. But he went and had a baby with a white girl, 23 years old, from London. And I said, did you do that? Because he's real dark, which is one of the characteristics that make him so alluring and sexy. He went, are you mad? Do you not want your son to be dark and alluring? Or do you want him to be more accepted in the film industry because of his color? And this is what Steve Harvey has done. He has made a transition. I do Just Saying. Just Saying, I used to go, I'm just saying. I used to do that all the time. I said, this is Just Saying. I'm just saying. I used to do that at the end. So one day I was listening to Steve Harvey. I used to listen to Steve Harvey's radio show. And I was listening to it and I heard, I'm just saying, I'm just saying. Then I continued to listen to him and criticize some of the things that I would say. And he's talking on behalf of that Obama. But then he turns around and changes the name of the show because this show is formatted for me and is copywritten. I paid for it. There's so many Just Sayings. If you Google Just Saying, there's a lot, or YouTube, Just Saying, there's a lot of them. But the format, how it's presented, what the purpose is, and all that stuff can be yours. And you can own it. And I let him know that that's mine. Just Saying is mine, whether you agree with it or not. And he changed his show to Just Ed. And he does the same thing, news and politics. That's when I knew certain people were listening to Just Saying with Steve Harvey. Showed me that. So when people don't put like and comments, I've never ever noticed how I never cease, because there's people listening. And naturally I won't get acceptance because I don't like religion. Steve Harvey said on this tape that I just saw on Facebook, I don't care about slavery. And it was a joke. He said it in a joke. I don't think those words should ever come out of his mouth. And at the time when he said it, I actually saw his ancestors. His ancestors that were raped. His ancestors that were hung and lynched. His ancestors that were engulfed with gasoline and burned to death until they were dead. Smelling their own burning flesh until they died, while other people were partying around that body with gin bottles and whores. I thought of his ancestors, and I saw them cry. You know why? Because he has forgotten them. And it was them that brought him to the point he's at right now. His ancestors. Steve Harvey has so many ancestors that were terribly brutalized in slavery. Constantly. And here he is where he is today. It was them. Not no white person, okay, from a network or something like that. Not them. It was them. The spirit is much stronger than what these people can do in the government and all that. The spirit is stronger. And the spirit of the ancestors is real. He defied them with those words that came out of his mouth. I don't care about slavery. That's what he did. That's how much that man has changed. You remember Steve Harvey? I don't know who this is. He went and got him a nice little half light-skinned wife. And he's dressing like England and London and going. I've never seen him in Africa. I've never seen him anywhere. He's always in London. I don't want to go to Europe. I don't know what people see. I just don't want to go to Europe and see double of bullshit that I've been through here in America. There is no way. What cathedrals? There was one church here in California that I want to go visit. That Big Ange, that David Tortora did a party there for her daughter's wedding. And that was the most beautiful place. I don't even think it was a church. It might have been a church. Because, see, I don't want to go see a whole bunch of cathedrals. You know, that's what Europe has. This cathedral was John S. Jacques. And I don't want to do that. Fake ass shit. They probably had some slaves building that shit. But the thing is, Europeans were the poorest during the Renaissance period. They were poor above poor. If you look at Africa, it was worse. They were poor. Those people are kind of sick too, because they went beyond the means to enslave a human being in order to get out of that. They would do anything, and even today, for money, to be in that 1%. Steve Harvey, I feel sorry for you. I really do. You know, I'm being harassed here in this apartment by a man. He's been harassing me, you know, asking me for sex. He says, oh, we can have sex in my apartment, and you can come over to my apartment. And it was when he said that, that was the rudest thing anybody could say to me. You know, and I said to myself, that was real rude. That's a nasty, ugh. All these men that when you meet them, you gotta have sex. That's not cool. But I don't go for it. So he kept doing. Every time he saw me, it was some sexual remark. So now he's collecting a whole lot of things that are fake. And it's common among harassment offenders that they'll find, oh, she cut my car, she's calling my house, she's doing this. And you can get documentation. Anytime you can get documentation, it's your word against mine. I will eat him alive because the person that you're accusing gets a chance to question you. And I've taken many law classes, and I am the bomb. I will eat you alive in court. The bomb. Calling me crazy. Well, I figured when he said that, I said, well, yeah, I am crazy. I overdo things. That means if you do something to me, I will work overboard to fight you. All you did was invite trouble into your life. My doctor said, when people say you're crazy, tell them, so what? He's the top at one of these hospitals. I am so thankful for my doctor. He is the bomb. And I walk out of there not taking it so literally, because that man can't have anything to do with my life. Wonderful things are about to happen for me. And you're not supposed to let people like that ruin your life. And he's short and old. He goes work out. But I'm going to tell you something. It's between me and you. I could whoop his ass. That little skinny thing, I'll have him and swing his butt all around Hollywood Boulevard. Physically. I don't need a gun. If he ever touched me, ever accidentally touched me, he slipped me $20 one time. I gave it back to him, but I said, what is that for? See, I don't think, my mind don't think like that. But $20, I would like to tell you, any brothers out there that ever think you're going to do that, $20, that is an insult. That is like cheap, you're a cheap whore or whatever. All that is harassment. And that's what I'm going through now. I like it. I'm going down to the federal building and talk to some lawyers just to get their opinion on some of the questions that I have about some of the things that are happening. That's what I do. And it's really odd because I don't have problems with the police. But yeah, I have to go through security when I go to the federal building all the time. I just successfully did a Chapter 7 on my own. I did an ESR, which is in the computer. You can do that in your computer. Now, in most states have attorneys that will assist you in this manner. And most of you that need to clear that up so you can get something else, clear it up. Do a Chapter 7. And just do it every 7 years. Do it. It cleans you up. You can get an opportunity to have, get a big loan to do something. So it's a good business move to me. But what was I saying? I finished Steve Harvey. I feel sorry for Steve Harvey. I really do. I remember what he was back when I left Chicago and Bernie had passed away that day. It was on a day of the Bud Billiken parade. And he passed that day at Northwest Hospital over on Michigan Avenue in Chicago. And when he passed, Steve Harvey, that was the last time I saw Steve Harvey. I haven't seen Steve Harvey since. Now, some people that believe in the Illuminati, which is all made up, fake. That's so fake. And so many young people are believing that, but it's fake. There's no such thing as Illuminati. They took a lot of things from voodoo or anything else to make it look alluring, and they do that in their Satan organizations. But it has nothing to do with you have to sacrifice a person to die in order for... in voodoo, they sacrifice an animal, a lamb, their blood, and drink the blood for certain things. But a human being, no. That tells you Illuminati is bullcrap. So no, did Steve Harvey kill or have Bernie dead, and then he felt that he could be the top, and he suddenly rose up to the top. That will be the story. But it isn't, because Steve Harvey don't have that power. And his ancestors wouldn't do that. Ancestors will protect you. In my situation, I gave it to my grandfather and my brother. And I felt where they said, let it go. But the only thing about ancestors, when you give it to them, it may take 20 years. It's the length of time. You know, and the message came to me, well, our time is a little different because we're not in the same time now. We're not in that. So it looks long, but it's not. As long as the lesson in your life is learned, and you're given that before the transition out of this life. I don't know if you understood what I was saying. But ancestors don't do evil things like kill people and stuff like that. They don't do that. So Steve really hurt their feelings. Tears, actual tears on the other side. That really hurts when you have been through so much pain. And you can imagine our ancestors when they were dying and being burnt, brutal deaths. You know, none of them were go to sleep or give them sleeping pills. None of them. They were beat, burned, and the women being raped on a consistent basis. It was horrible. What could be in your mind as an adult at that time that you're dying or being beat, called a nigger, you no good son of, you know, all of that kind of stuff, looking up to the blue-eyed devil, big, fat, white, blue eyes, just fucked up, you know, just evil. You can feel when evil's around you, can't you? Can you think what they think about at that time? They thought about you, the children, their husbands, the men that were being hung. They thought about the wife and kids. What's going to happen to my family? You know? And then smelling your own flesh being burned. What do you think about that? Pain. And nobody loves you. No love, nothing, and people partying around just to see the penis erect. His ancestors cried. Because there's nothing, there's no Steve Harvey there anymore. You might see him hallelujah in these churches, always talking about God and Bibles. But you're not going to ever see that cool Steve Harvey anymore. The Steve Harvey that really got him where he is today. So don't worry about it. I'm done with Steve Harvey. I am. I'm done with talking about it. The one thing they were talking about was voting on News Now today that concerned me. Because I know all the struggles that I go through here in Los Angeles. Guess what? I'm alone. I have no one to talk to. I have no one to share about this guy harassing me. There's no one I can call. So I have to fight on my own. Which most people don't like it. Because I fight you until all the blood is gone in me. I would. It's just the wrong person to mess with. But the thing is, it was one state, I don't know if it was in Florida. I know they done blocked all of Florida. Florida allowed that. You know, all that killing. Trayvon Martin wasn't the first one. They've been doing murders. A lot of the lynchings were in Florida. There's some real racist energy over there. But the thing is, they gave them an option to, there's one place where they can go to a place and get free IDs to vote. And they're fighting that. They said some people don't have no way to get to the DMV or wherever they're talking about. So some people don't have cars, and it's this 45 minutes away. So I thought to myself, you know what? When I was confronted with that problem as just one person for the DMV, I took that, I saved up $100 and kept paying until I passed that test. I brought my house shoes. I had a little jacket that because I can go to sleep. Every time I failed the test, I failed the test so many times here in California. It's real hard. And I said, I'm going to get this license before and so they loved it because I'm paying them, steady paying them $33, what is that, 3 times? And then I had to take some more money, to pay for the 3rd time, which I passed. But I made arrangements no matter what it took. I was going to get that license. So I'm sorry, my sisters and brothers. Whatever you have to do, if you got to travel an hour away, this is what you guys can do. Get a charter bus, especially in the churches, the people are used to, and on the day of voting, have those charters. Use the same charter bus. Use that charter bus, drive, you take about 3 buses, or it all depends on how many people show up. And take them 45 minutes away over there and take care of that business. Make arrangements. But when you fight over something like that, that's when a boy just got shot down 16 times and a little girl was swung halfway across the room, there's much more other things to be thinking about than voting. Because to be honest with you, all this is being set up. Trump is just a pawn, as they call Obama. He's a pawn. Trump is setting us up for Jeb Bush. You know, I had predicted that there won't be any more Bushes in that position because of what happened in his brother and the world trade, his connection with the world trade. And I said that will never happen. But it looks like we're headed towards Jeb Bush being president. They're going to have people are going to switch all of a sudden to Jeb Bush. Trump is just holding a seat for Jeb Bush. Ted Cruz will never make it. That's too biased. He's too openly. I think he's a blue-eyed devil. I think he's a psychopath. I don't think he knows, has no feeling whatsoever, and he will destroy people, immigrants, everything. I don't think he's a very dangerous person to put into office. But who else? Well, did John Christie get himself kicked out? I don't know. All I know is that Donald Trump is the top contender and Jed is the bottom. Watch this. Jeb Bush is not all that bad. You know, you almost I did not like Obama, and I don't respect him because he didn't speak up for his people in the time that he could. Nothing stops you. There's no rules or regulations. There's no college he ever went to that told him he had to do that. That's just game. But it was his responsibility as a black person to do that. 97% of the black people voted for him, and we were the least to be spoken for. And in the way he did it. I have a tape of it. I put together all the videos that I'm referring to, and you can listen to him yourself. He just was not cool. I don't like that Miss Obama, which is a very intelligent, pretty, talented, all of that. But she did nothing as a first lady. Not a dang thing. Jumping jacks and vegetables, that was it. Every time I saw her. Now she's doing hip-hop. I don't, and I guess that goes along with her. She's got kids that age. So maybe I don't know what it was, but they had a great responsibility, and did nothing for black people. So he's no different from Bush to me. That's just a shame, Holder was ridiculous. I just heard he was a prosecutor. How could you be a prosecutor and you came to Ferguson when that happened and you just stepped your ass on out? I don't understand Holder at all. I don't. But I think he was just a mistake. You had 2 black people that had two heads. So the white people did make a point. So it doesn't make any difference really who's president. So don't make all those changes about voter registration and all that, and bills and policies that y'all been doing for 55 years. And I say y'all, the NAACP, civil rights, they got to be in there to keep their thing up. You know, reputation. You know, those people don't give a damn, because if they cared, they would go to these churches and get on these churches that are raising all of this money, but then we are going to go on a shutdown, the government, and have to go to the government for housing. We have to go to government for everything, when these churches have more money than you could ever imagine. And they praise the Lord. I don't know what the hell those people do in those churches. I don't even think like that anymore. So I can't even, but it's wrong to collect all that money and we still hungry. You still have children that don't have anywhere to stay. And people say, well, why don't you give them a place to stay? I wish I could. If I had that power and had that money and was mean enough to collect money from people with the understanding that I got to make a payment on my car note or buy me a big mansion, if I did that, then I would make the decision to feed and house children out in the street. There's kids out in the street. There's people out in the street. White, black, because to me, homeless has no color. You know. Might have some blue-eyed devils that made their change out there in the street that will help anybody that they possibly could. I met quite a few people like that. So black people, don't put so much in a basket. Stop doing the same damn things. I'm not following you. That's final. You can't count on me for nothing, because I am not following you. I don't agree in the directions. And that voting thing, get some people on the bus. That's how I think. I had house shoes on at the DMV. And when they saw me put my house shoes on and go sit again, they said, oh, we're going to have to pass her. Okay, because we got to get her out of here. I will put you to the test, boo-boo. You know, so. Dr. Watkins, I agree with you about Steve Harvey. I don't want to say nothing else about him. That's just plain to see. Steve Harvey is not my comedian or anybody. I am not. I saw it coming, and I don't like the new Steve I see. Maybe his ancestors can help humble him again. Help him humble. They can't protect him because he has caused and made the decisions on his own. And to make a statement like he did, that's out of order. I don't even know how he could do that on national TV. And then go to church talking about God and them damn Bibles. Okay? But that might be his problem. Well, I guess that's all I have to say. You know, I don't want to make a long webcam. It's early in the morning here, 6:05 in Los Angeles. Actually, it sounds quiet. It's been rainy and windy here in Los Angeles, but it's kind of quieted down. Wish me luck on the harassment that I'm going through. I mean, at least I can tell you guys, and I can talk to the web. Any woman that's going through this, don't fear, because it's very normal for the man to start building fake and lies. He's a manipulator. He's a mass manipulator, fake and lies. Most of the people are mad at me because they can't have this apartment. They want, this is a nice apartment. And I believe there's some jealousy, and his way of is intimidation. He's one of those vets. So what he does, what I don't respect vets. I wouldn't want a black man that's a vet. I don't like you. You can't be by my side. Because I would never fight in the United States. For the United States. I would never do that. I would go to jail. I'll holler and scream there. I can holler and scream. Because I just don't want to ever do anything or see any of my relatives do that. Any man that has done that, I have very little respect for them, especially African Americans. And people say, why? Why did you fight for the people that put you in slavery? Why would you do that? Let them drop bombs. I don't care. It's going to happen anyway. I think if they fight ISIS, they're really going to get it. Because see, ISIS just so happen to be a group that somebody did something to. Something happened. And they're getting you back. They're not like black people for centuries and hundreds of years. We will take your crap. We still looking for still looking for the same bills and policies, voter IDs. We're still, and we will turn the other cheek, even if you shoot my child 16 times. We'll allow that dang president to say and do whatever he wants to do. I don't support Obama in no shape, form, or fashion. I say it over. I don't. And I'm glad that he is leaving. Is it in April? I don't know what time, where he goes, but I hope he hurry up and get out. Let Trump, or I don't care whoever, get in it. If Obama can be president, Trump can be president. That's the whole thing. But the real politician, he's from a line of politicians, and he at least knows what he's doing, and I think that he would do a good job as Jeb Bush. A lot of black people say, I don't care. Obama was true. It's nothing like having all that power and doing nothing for your people. There's nothing like that, my dear. That's bad. Nothing. So what could Jeb Bush do to us? Nothing. And I think that Trump is holding the seat for him. I really do. And he'll win. I'm not voting this year. I'm relieving of myself. No, I used to feel bad. People make you feel like your ancestors went through this for voting. And now I'm like, why? We can look at it from this point. Why did you do that? What was that supposed to do? How did that change the community? How did that affect racism? How did that affect children from dying and men being shot down and hung and lynched? How did that affect the rape of black women on a consistent? It didn't. You're not getting any justice. And they're always talking about their founding fathers. Who are the founding fathers? You talking about those slave owners? You think a slave owner would develop anything to free you? It made them have the law the way it is today, where they have a right, stand your ground laws. They can fight you and go all the way back to the Constitution and win. They shoot, and they win. That's not victory. You need to think of something else. Now, if all of us held back and not vote and let them have their little facade, let them have their little media shows, let them have all of that stuff, and don't vote. Stay at home, eat some, have a party, but don't vote. Because it doesn't help you any. That particular race is already decided. So it doesn't make any difference. Have a party. Have a thing on Sunday after church. Read the Bible and look at the elections. Don't vote. Now, I know this webcam is going to start running short. Steve Harvey. And what else? I talked about Steve Harvey, voter IDs, and harassment. Other women that may be going through what I'm going through, don't react on that man at all, because he's going to get a whole bunch of lies. But in court, you will have the right of questioning. And that's where you kill them. And if both of them are found all of that stuff not guilty, is perjury, and he may do time for that. And to me, men that harass on a consistent basis need to be locked up. Now, I'm talking about going back to jail, because most of these, they're faking, and they will. They're constantly on you. And when you don't, they'll do something to you, you know. She's a lesbian. And he went to Leimert Park telling those people I'm a lesbian, everything. Telling all kinds of lies, defamation, defame my character. A lesbian. Whatever I do in the bed ain't nobody's business. But definitely to a man that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. And he ain't gonna touch me. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to end this with this. You know what I always say is never turn the other cheek. It'll be the biggest mistake you ever made. Fight. Face your fears. Because they don't do nothing but come right back to you until you learn. Fight. That's what's happening to the race of black people all over the world. It just comes right back, and they're having the same problems everywhere because we will not fight. I don't know what is wrong with us. We find, well, let's go to the Bible, and what are we gonna do? He done shot 9 people, and oh Lord, what are you gonna do? You should have took a shotgun and blew all the Ku Klux Klan away. If you do that, what they gonna do? Throw you in jail? Kill you? You'll never kill somebody that has taken care of what they should. And ISIS, you can't destroy ISIS. ISIS is like you cut, what is some of those worms that you can cut the tail off and then it grows right back, and then you cut the tail off and then it grows right back, and then you cut the tail off and it grows. And that's all you're gonna get. They'll be making ISIS babies pretty soon, and ISIS wants you bad. Somebody did something to those people. The new world, the smaller countries, what do they call them? 4 of them. America dropped bombs, blew them up out of nowhere for no reason, just to have control over their natural resources. That's what America does. It goes around collecting natural resources and killing innocent, poor people. They always pick the poor areas. Always. There's a very cunning, just like that man that I probably will go to court with. You know, it's just like him. If I continue, if he ever touch me, I'm going to beat him up. Yeah. And anybody that knows me would tell him that he messed with the wrong, you messed with the wrong woman, because she'll fight until all the blood is out of her. And fight has nothing to do with physical. I'm very intelligent. I'm very intelligent. I will look at things all night long, laws and stuff like that, and I'll gather stuff, put stuff in order. I am so much a fighter, and I was born that way. Gangs tried to beat me up, tried to get me in there. I beat all of them. Well, I planted and beat them up. I can fight. I can physically fight, but I also can fight you with this, with my mind. I don't believe in doing things over and over and over and over that just a lie and all of it's stupid. I don't want to do that. Anytime you let 2 black people get away that had more power than anybody else and they still couldn't do nothing. You know, and I bet you they probably said do it. And we will do this to you. And they chose to keep their jobs. That's what happens to all these black people. And so therefore we are just never going to go anywhere. So you got to individually be the person that says, I'm putting my foot down on this. I'm not taking this anymore. Okay? Respect is the only thing that I see. And I don't see nothing else. I don't see nothing else. If you disrespect me, you get what you deserve. So I think that's what happened to ISIS, because people don't just do what ISIS is doing out of the blue. You know, and I have never heard anything like that on the news, although I don't, when they say ISIS, I turn it. I don't get into that. They're not going to make me mad as an American. And pretty soon I'm going to, let's go fight. And I'm going to get my legs blown off. And my mind screwed up for you, America, to kill ISIS. I wish you would. I would never do that. I would fight your own battle. Send your own kids. You know, fight your own battle, because you did that. Somebody did that. Just like you shut the mouth of Obama or Holder. Just like you did whatever you did through the history of black people. You're crooked. You know, you would do that. So now y'all know why I am the way I am. Mother sucker, honey. This is my special tea that is really good in the morning, and it really soothes my soul, and I have to have it for my throat. Anyway, thank you for coming to Just Saying, Cypress, Gold, and Bronze. And remember, never turn the other cheek. Ashe.